Hi guys, welcome back to the channel FPL Consult here, and welcome to the Game Week 31 blank Game Week 31 deadline stream. So, as it stands right now, there's a couple of things in the FPL world that have been already confirmed, which is that Man City, Crystal Palace, and also Arsenal and Wolves all will blank in Game Week 31. The one that we were waiting for was mainly the Man City and Crystal Palace one, but now that has been confirmed after Crystal Palace won in Europe, basically. So they will blank in Game Week 31, as will Man City. And I think the best way to kind of elaborate on this is looking at the FPL.team transfer planner as well as the fixtures. So before we get to that, if you're watching the stream, please do help me out and drop a like as well. And I think we'll start with the fixtures. So let me head over to fpl.team and set the fixtures up. All right, just give me a moment. All right, so I'm on fpl.team and I'm just gonna I'll be honest, I haven't done too much tinkering this week. So honestly, just got back from work, so I'm going to have a bit of a brainstorming session, a bit of a ramble, if you guys don't mind, to plan a bit of my team and also just talk through any questions that you guys have. So if there's any questions, just drop it in the chat, and I will get to them as soon as I can. So in terms of fixtures for Game Week 33, in terms of projected teams that are going to double, it's Arsenal, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, Man City, and also Newcastle. So the Man City versus Crystal Palace game, even though it's been confirmed that it will not happen in Game Week 31, the predictions have them to be either in Game Week 30, somewhere between Game Week 35 to Game Week 37. So for now, Planet FPL have put them in Game Week 36, right? Man City and Crystal Palace, as you can see here. I'm not sure if I can hover over it, but yeah, this Man City in Game Week 36, Man City and Crystal Palace are projected to double. Aside from that, in Game Week 33, which is the double that a lot of us are going to be setting up for a bench boost, Arsenal, which a lot of us will also be tripled up on, they have Man City versus Newcastle, Man City and also Newcastle, so that's not super ideal, but still a double nonetheless. Brighton have Tottenham and Chelsea. Burnley, this one is yet to, this one is more of a 50-50 kind of situation. It may or may not happen here. Burnley will have Nottingham Forest and Man City. Chelsea have United and Brighton. And then Man City have Arsenal, and Burnley and Newcastle have Bournemouth and Arsenal. So right now as it stands, I'll caveat as well by saying that it's not impossible that Man City and Crystal Palace double in Game Week 33. It's just that Planet FPL don't think that it's likely. They do think like it would fall somewhere between 35 and 37. So in terms of planning, we're gonna go by the projected fixtures that they have now. And I think one of the main reasons why a lot of people are considering the the wildcard in 32 is mainly because when you go over to Game Week 33 and you want to bench boost, there's not a lot of people who will have lots of doublers without using your wildcard in Game Week 32. Basically, most of us have to set up in Game Week 32 with a wildcard to get to many doublers in 33. So for my own team, I'm not tripled up on Arsenal, that's one. I also only have one Man City in Haaland, and that's pretty much it. Liverpool wise, I meant Newcastle, right? I don't have a Newcastle asset. I may have a Newcastle asset if I bring Gordon in this week. So if I set my team up for Game Week 31, Let me just put all my starting players into the starting 11. Dubravka in as well. This is game week 31. So Sa to Gordon could be something that I do this week to set up for the double in 33. So for now, if I do this move, I mean, it's still tentative. I'm not confirmed on this. But if I make this transfer, come to game week 33, at least I will have one more doubler here. But again, it's not ideal because you look at the number of doublers that I'll have, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just 5 doublers. Albeit the other fixtures are pretty alright, right? Liverpool play Everton, Brentford for Fulham, right? So I mean, either ways, the point is to say that I don't think the team would be well set up for game week 33. So chip strategy wise, I'm still quite certain that I would be wild carding in game week 32, and that basically means that it's a situation now in game week 31 where I have many options to go for. I don't have to go for Gordon. With a view that I'll be wild carding in 32, I can just get him in next week if I really do want him for the double in 33. So I'm gonna kind of reverse this move. I'm gonna put Ismail Assar back. And yeah, there's a few different moves that are open to me now. I can do Mukiele to Anderson. That's one, which I'm quite keen on as well. Mukiele to Anderson basically means I can actually bench Ismail Assar. If I want to be super aggressive and use up one more transfer, even though I don't think it's necessary, then Ismail Assar to Gordon is still open to me because I have 8 million in the bank. But I think this would be super aggressive. It will, though, give me at least one bench option. Even though I don't think it's absolutely necessary to make this move, but it will give me one more bench option. So I could, for example, bench Rodon, have him first on the bench, and set up with something like this. So it's an option. It's just a case of whether I want to use 2 transfers or not. But right now, as it stands, without making any transfers, this is where I'm at in terms of my team. Right, so I'll leave it here first. Also, captaincy wise, ignore Ekatike. Let me just put the captaincy armband on Bruno and also Thiago. All right. So I'll leave it at this screen for now, and I'll play around with a couple of transfers that I intend to make. Some of you guys have arrived in the chat. Nice to have all of you in the chat. Ken Deutsche, nice to have you. John Hambleton, Selwyn, nice to have you in the chat as well. Razor610, Vincent, member in the chat. Sam Munley. Good to have all of you for a Friday deadline. Let me know what you guys are doing in terms of your moves, and also how many players are you going into game week 31 with. I've seen some teams with 10 players even after making transfers, and to be honest, I don't mind going into game week 31 or blank game week 31 with 10 players. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. John says, all right, mate, need one more player to field a full 11. What would you prioritize? O'Reilly to Anderson, O'Reilly to Theo, or Rice to Gordon? Not confident in Newcastle after playing in Europe and the Tyneside derby. I mean, I think the question of bringing in Newcastle players is... The question of bringing in Newcastle players is not specifically just for this game week. It's also their prospects for the future game weeks. I don't think it's absolutely necessary to go for a Newcastle player now. So that's why I'm also thinking about whether I want to delay the Gordon move and therefore only go for Joachim Anderson. So I do like Mukiele to Anderson and I bench Ismail Assar, and that's my starting 11, because I'm not certain as to whether I really want Newcastle players or not. Obviously, before Europe, it was looking pretty good, but it's been rough for them since. I think since last week. It doesn't mean I won't go for them, but I just don't think it's absolutely necessary. Um, so yeah, I think in terms of your transfers, O'Reilly to Anderson feels like the one with the lower ceiling. Obviously, Rice to Gordon feels like the one with the greater ceiling. So, Selwyn, thank you for that. Kendoichi says, hi Leon, like your wisdom. Which two will you start out of these three? Van Heck, Rodon, or Enzo? I'd go Enzo. I'd go Enzo. Would you sell Alderete for Theo and bench Hill? I have 2 free transfers. Already have Virgil van Dijk and Anderson. Alderete for Theo and bench Hill. Is that necessary? I think I wouldn't. I think I'd save the transfer. Who's on penalties for Liverpool? Salah is out. It's probably gonna be Soboslai. To be honest. Simon Lee says 1 free transfer. Option 1, roll and play with 10 men. Option 2, Munoz to Theo. Option 3, Salah to Gordon. I think if you have 1 free transfer, I don't mind just spending it, Salah to Gordon seems like what I'd do. Semenyo out for Gordon, that could work. Currently I have 11 players playing. With 1 free transfer, would a move from Tavernier to Gordon be worth it? If you have 11 players, I don't think it's... I mean, this is a week where I think some people would be fielding 10 players, honestly speaking. So I don't think a move like Tavernier to Gordon is something I do. So to put it simply, I think if you have 11 players this week, saving your free transfer could be very useful later down the line. Buy Gordon or Dango. Gordon for me. I think the fact that Gordon is on pens as well just sways a little bit more of the decisions for people. Got 2 free transfers, Chalobah and Mukiele to Theo and Anderson. Those moves look fine if you have to field those two. Basically, if you only have 9 playing players right now, then yeah, I would make those moves. I think they may be tired / demoralized. Possibly. I mean, they just exited. They just exited the Champions League, so potentially Palmer captain against Everton. I think it's one of those shouts. I think he's definitely one of the captaincy shouts this week. For me, it's probably still gonna be Bruno Fernandes. I think. Best replacement for Tarkowski and Rice, considering I already have Bruno, Mbumo, Anderson, Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, and Hill. Midfielders wise, you're probably looking at Newcastle midfielders. It's if you're on a wildcard 32 strategy as well, then obviously there's a couple more options for you. It's gonna be like a 1 week punt essentially. So you could really look at some pretty rogue picks, I would say. Szoboszlai is potentially someone you could actually transfer in. I've seen, given his recent form, definitely have seen people transfer Szoboszlai in this week. Who else would I go for? I think going for Wilson also makes a lot of sense if you don't have Wilson. Yeah, I mean then there's the usual suspects, right? Gordon, etc. I'm quietly hoping that Rogers does well this week. I've been holding on to Rogers for a really long time, and he hasn't done anything at all. So I am hoping that this is the week Rogers does it for me. If not, he may not even be in the wild card for 32. One second. All right. Where was I? Soberslide or Rogers or Gibbs White or Elliot Anderson. Okay, between all those, it's gonna be either Soberslide or Rogers for me. I'll probably lean towards Soberslide. Kendoichi says 11 starting players and work really late. Yeah, fortunately. Appreciate the dedication to your channel and followers. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning into the deadline stream as well. Akash says, would you trust a Renildo start? It's iffy. It's iffy. I wouldn't. Okay, if he's the 11th player in my team, then I don't know if he's gonna start or not. I would probably be fine with that. But if you're on 10 players and you have Renildo, probably have to make a transfer. Go with Enzo as suggested, but who to start between Rodon and Van Heck? It's tricky, this one. But I can't see a clean sheet for Brighton. They haven't been defending really well, and I'm not so sure if Brighton will keep a clean sheet. And I think Rodon is a bit better for DEFCON as well, so I'll probably still go Rodon ahead of Van Heck. I feel like Gordon will do well this game week, but losing 0.3 value by transferring Semenyo out feels off. You probably will have Semenyo in your wild card for 32 if Man City double in 33, which is likely what's going to happen. I think a lot of people will have Semenyo. So again, it's a situation where maybe you just take the L for this week. Semenyo could be the 11th player in your starting 11, but then after that you reap the rewards because you potentially don't have to make. Some people are saving their wild cards, which is a perfectly viable strategy. It's perfectly viable. So I'm just gonna put it out there that playing with 10 players in 31 is fine. Tarkovsky will hopefully be in and around the squad, but he will not play. Should I roll the transfer him out for cash, Theo, Doof? 0.1 million in the bank, 3 free transfers, no bench, as I have bank game week players on there. I think I probably would make the transfer. Cash, Theo, or Doof. I wouldn't go Doof, so it's between Cash or Theo. I'll actually put Anderson ahead of. I'm assuming you already have Anderson, that's why I haven't listed him. But if you don't have him yet, he would be the first choice from you. Joakim Anderson, that is. Then between Cash and Theo, I'll probably lean a little bit more towards Theo. Theo is actually really good for goal involvement per 90. Who's on a free hit this week? Yeah, I think there's quite a number of people on free hits I've seen, but it's not the most popular strategy, but I have seen some people on a free hit. I'm just gonna put a poll in there. Are you on a free hit this week? I think majority wouldn't be, but I have seen some people on it. So let's have a look. Henry, nice to have you in the chat. Who's a good option for captain? I'm going to say the usual suspects are Bruno Fernandes, right? He's always in and around the captaincy conversation. But this week, I think players like Thiago, Wilson, differential captaincy shouts, they're all in there as well. They're all in there. I don't think I'll go too different though. Nine players playing with 2 free transfers, no fixtures for the 6 players that you have. Haaland to Raul Jimenez, Dorgu to Theo, and then wildcard 32. I mean, regardless, you would be wildcarding in 32. Raul Jimenez actually has the highest projected points this. Let me just pull it up. Raul Jimenez actually has the highest projected points. Rob T FPL, which is a great great Twitter account to follow if you haven't followed already. So projected market goals for Raul Jimenez is at 0.65. So he's the one with the highest. You see Gordon is up there as well with like 0.47. So a lot of people he's on pens. I think largely why his projections are so high is because of pens as well. And probably going to be playing center forward, listed as a midfielder as well. So there's actually a lot of reasons to go for Gordon. So that's why he's up there. But yeah, I like Raul Jimenez as a differential kind of third forward that you have in your team. You're probably going to go like Ekatike, Thiago, and then Raul up front. Most people, if they go for Raul, would have a forward line like that. Put it back. Yeah, so I actually do like Raul Jimenez. Question is, would you sell I mean, how much value would you be losing in him? He's been dropping in price recently, Haaland. So maybe as compared to a few weeks ago, you're not going to lose as much value. But yeah, Haaland to Raul Jimenez. If you're honestly, money doesn't feel like a stretch at this point. So I don't mind Haaland to Raul Jimenez. Selling Dorgu, yes, it does make sense. To Malik Theo, again, for defenders wise this week, if you don't have Anderson, I would go Anderson. If not, then it's Theo. So it'd be Anderson, Theo, and then someone like Matty Cash as a 1 week punt. Excuse me. Dubravka or Petrovic? I'm gonna go Dubravka. Petrovic, I mean, Bournemouth are pretty decent for home form though. But it's Manchester United. Maybe Petrovic. I mean, just about Petrovic. I don't think that there's much in between the two though. We start Dubravka over Bruggen. This one I probably go Dubravka. 1 week striker punt. Jimenez, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. I go Jimenez. I'm actually... It's actually open to me as well. I mean... You know something that just came across my mind. I don't know if I could actually do this. I'm not sure if I have the... Okay, scrap that. Let me just show you guys what I was thinking about. So for game week 31, this is if I do Anderson in for Mukiele, but let me just remove that, reverse that transfer. So how it looks like right now is like this, and Gordon out for Sa. So this is how the team currently looks like. What I was trying to think about is whether I could go for Raul Jimenez, but it also feels very short term, and I'll be losing value on Haaland. If I look at my transfer price for Haaland, I mean, I'm just checking for... Yeah, I'm gonna lose 0.1 on Haaland. I mean, it's not much. It's not much. I'll lose 0.1 on Haaland. So it's a possibility to just take a punt. So let's say... Who would I bench though? That's the question. Who would I bench though? I mean... I can go for I can go for Gordon here for sure. Still, but who would I bench then? Yeah, I'd have too many attackers. That's why I think overall it still makes sense to go for Gordon, and then instead of going for Raul, I keep Haaland, and then I go Michele to Anderson. This is like not necessary because I already have 3 defenders, but just if I want to strengthen the team, it could be something like this. So I haven't confirmed moves yet, but let me know what you guys think. Like, what would you do in my spot? What would you do in my spot? Just put this. Can't afford Theo. What do you think of Livramento and Trip? I love Livramento, but I would actually put Lewis Hall above those two. Sarr to Wilson or Maguire, Sarr, Haaland to Anderson, Bruno, Thiago for -8. It seems like you are chasing insane rank. I mean, sorry, an insane difference in mini league. So what I would do, you have to go pretty differential, I think. In those kind of spots, especially if you're chasing mini league and you're not really bothered about rank, I would just try to, and there's a big gap. How I would play it is try to go for players that I don't think because you're already quite far behind. You may as well take a chance on players that the mini league leader doesn't have, and try and chase those kind of differentials. Because at the end of the day, if you're playing for mini league, it doesn't really matter in terms of rank. So yeah, that's how I would play it. If you use a wildcard in 32, who's a good option to bring in for the wildcard or the free hit? So I'll try to do a wildcard video next week. I will try to do one. But yeah, I would say that it requires the fixtures to be confirmed first, which they will be before the 32 deadline. So by then we'll have a clearer picture, but you can imagine that there'll be lots of doublers that you'll be setting up for, especially a bench boost in 33 going to be very popular. By the way, for those of you who are on those of you who still have the triple captainship available, the good news is that Crystal Palace winning in Europe last night basically means that there will be an extra double game week somewhere between 35 to 37 for you to use your triple captainship. So that's just one piece of news. Can share your wildcard draft for 32, and would you activate it once the game refreshes after the game week 31 deadline? Thinking of doing so. But the thing with, again, as I said, the thing with the game week 32 wildcard is it's going to largely depend on the teams that double in 33. But I mean, we definitely could go out and based off of current predictions, do a draft. So I potentially could do that. I mean, I could actually try to stream tomorrow. In all honesty, I could try to stream the usual time, but not doing a deadline, like more setting up a wild card. It's possible. It's possible. Let me just check what time the games are tomorrow. It's possible. I could actually do a stream before the Brighton Liverpool game. I mean, would you guys want that? Okay, let me just put it in the chat. If there's demand for it, I guess I could. So yeah, as expected, not a lot of people on a free hit. But there are some, right? Like 16%. 16%. Okay. Let me know what you guys think. Would you want to stream tomorrow talking through kind of wild card drafts? I mean, the issue I feel is that firstly, the games are not over. So even if I select a couple of players, they may not be available to pick if they get injured. Secondly, the fixtures for 33, double game 33 are not confirmed as well. But that said, again, it could completely be just a draft to talk through early thoughts regarding a wild card. So by then, I probably would have my wild card activated already. So it's possible. Let me know what you guys think. Should I start Enzo or Rogers? One of them has to be on the bench. Well, you're in a pretty good situation if you have to bench either one of Enzo or Rogers. I'm quietly confident of Rogers against West Ham. I'm not going to lie. Even though he has been absolutely terrible the past few game weeks. Okay, the logical answer, the correct answer I feel would be Enzo. Yeah, so I'd probably say Enzo over Rogers, but maybe it's a bit of bias that because I'm playing Rogers this week, it could be a bit of bias. But realistically, like Enzo versus Rogers, I would go Enzo this week. Yeah, I mean Palmer is an option. Mr. Guys 181. Palmer is an option. I'm not gonna rule that out. But in order for me to go Palmer, sorry, I'm just on fpl.team. Give me a moment. In order for me to go Palmer, I have to sell Haaland. Yeah, I mean, okay, unfortunately, it doesn't make sense for me to go for Palmer. But for those of you, for example, if you have Salah and he's injured now, of course, then I think Palmer is an option for you. Gordon is also going to be an option for you. Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty split. Okay, 64% of you guys think that I should stream tomorrow. We'll come back to this towards the end. Captain Raul or Wilson, but Raul might not play 90 minutes because of Muniz, but Raul Jimenez will definitely start. And how long do you need against Burnley as a striker? How long would you be happy with Raul Jimenez getting? How about Ilanga? I would still prefer Gordon because of Pence. Elliot Nice Abby in the chat says, starting to think ahead. What's your advice for players to target for 32? Great stream, by the way. Always love it. Thank you very much. I'm gonna say that again. It's gonna largely depend on the double game week fixtures for 33, which is going to only be confirmed later on. But definitely by the time game week 30, the game week 32 deadline comes around, we have a better idea. And it's going to largely center around getting your doublers from Arsenal. They'll still be there. The other teams that would double in 33, Newcastle. There's 4 teams. Let me just pull up Ben Krelin's spreadsheet. Okay, let me just go over. Oh, by the way, if you guys are watching and you haven't liked the stream, please do drop a like. I don't ask for it enough, I feel. Okay. Yeah, so this is the you can't really see it. Let me see if I can shift it a little bit. Man. Okay. Tell you what. I'll use this. Yeah, so there's a couple of teams. I'll toggle between the just make this a little bit bigger. I'll toggle between the FPL.team website, which is what I'm on right now, to give us a better idea of the future game weeks. But I'll also look at Ben Krelin's ticker. So when you look at Ben Krelin, they kind of are similar in terms of their projections. So Ben Krelin here basically is saying that Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, and Chelsea are pretty much going to have a double game week in 33. If I look at Planet FPL's projections as well, I have here Arsenal, Brighton, Chelsea and Newcastle. Yeah, Arsenal, Brighton, Chelsea, and Newcastle. So Arsenal, Brighton, Chelsea, and Newcastle. The teams that may not double in 33 is the Man City and Burnley fixture here. It may not come here. It depends, right? It's going to be either one of the Man City versus Burnley fixture, or it could also be the Liverpool Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, Liverpool. Yeah, it could be Crystal Palace that is doubling as well as Liverpool. So pretty much it's gonna have to wait. Right, because I imagine that if Liverpool have a double in 33, a lot of us are gonna have the likes of Ekitike, Soboslai, and probably Van Dijk. But maybe you don't have as many Liverpool if they don't double. So I mean, point is to say that you can largely build around your doublers for Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, and Chelsea already. And that's what a lot of drafts are going to look like for the early part of 32. But once we get a confirmation of whether it is Liverpool and Crystal Palace that's doubling in 33 or Man City and Burnley, then we can tweak the drafts further. But yeah, that's pretty much, I would say largely those teams are the ones to target. Captain Bruno or Wilson. There's probably also Cole Palmer in there in the debate. Theo or Hall. I prefer Malik Theo over Hall if you have the money. Bench Enzo. I mean, if you're in a situation this week where you're thinking about benching Enzo, you're already in a pretty good position, I'd say. Jimenez in, yeah, fair enough. Double Fulham defense or get Theo. Get Malik Theo. I wouldn't mind just splitting up the risk. Might just do Sa to Wilson and captain him, the league leader, likely captain. Fair enough. Fair enough. Especially if you're chasing me league. Who are sure shot picks? Wow, that's a tongue twister. Sure shot picks for Wildcard 32, irrespective. So there's going to be those teams that definitely are going to double. So it's the likes of Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, and Chelsea. I think Cole Palmer will definitely be in there. Your standard Arsenal players that you want to go for. I'll think that I'd still have Raya and Gabriel. I mean, double defense for Arsenal is still going to be my preference. I think the only thing is some people may want to switch to double attack. Maybe a Saka and a Declan Rice, and then Gabriel in defense. I don't know what people think of Eze, but he's been in great form recently. Just a bit too risky to be a proper FPL pick, because Odegaard will always exist, and when games come thick and fast, you can't be sure that Eze is going to play every game. But Eze has been in fine form since he's come back into the team. Having 11 players, including Enzo Lefebvre, Goodmanson. Should I sell Haaland and Lefebvre for João Pedro and Szoboszlai, or Gordon, or sell Semenyo and Goodmanson for Theo and a midfielder? Probably just about prefer the latter. Just about prefer the latter. Benjamin says, "Are you Singaporean?" Yes, I am. I am Singaporean. Ryan, nice to have you in the chat. 11 players starting. Enzo Lefebvre is one of them. Do you know if Lefebvre is playing, or or should I take a -4 hit to Wilson? I'm just trying to think that, I mean, regardless, would you still want Wilson in the team? Is it worth a -4 though? Okay, let me have a look at the predictions for Enzo Lefebvre. I mean, it's tricky. What I'm seeing is kind of 60%. I do think like this is a week where Fulham players probably will do well though. Is it worth a -4? Maybe just about. But it's also the thinking where if you feel like even 10 players this, like let's say Enzo Lefebvre doesn't play, like 10 players this week by right, it's fine as well, because technically it's a blank game week, and I think people will be fielding, like engaged FPL managers, some will be fielding 10 players, because there is benefit to just, having probably your Man City players, right? I think people who are fielding 10 players would have something like Raya, Haaland, Gabriel, Semenyo, and maybe one more Arsenal asset, maybe a Declan Rice. Like having those players in your team, like overall, longer term, you would still want them. It saves you transfers. You have, yes, one less player in 31, but it's not the end of the world. Like after that, you reap the benefits in having more transfers, more flexibility, and you probably are more well set up that you can entertain other kind of chip strategies as well. It's very different if you've already confirmed what your chip strategy is going to be. If you are definitely certain that you will wildcard in 32, then you can actually treat And obviously, if you don't think that you will require the transfers in future, then you can actually treat game week 31 like a dead end week. So, for example, in my position, I have 2 free transfers. I can just use all of it. Like, it's possible. That's why it's very tricky, because at this stage of the season, it's going to be dependent on your chip strategies. Deciding on all our most wildcard picks before the FA Cup games is pointless, isn't it? I would say so, but what you can also say is that the teams that are likely to double will still double regardless of whether, regardless of the FA Cup results. The FA Cup results will only help to confirm the other 2 teams that double, whether it's Liverpool and Crystal Palace or whether it's Man City and Burnley. It's the rest, like the likes of your Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, and Crystal Palace. Sorry, Chelsea, Brighton, Arsenal, and Newcastle players will still be in and around the discussion for a wild card. One transfer for the rest of the season. Rest of the season. You surely will be you'll be using chips elsewhere. I mean, for the rest of the season, it's hard to say. Hard to say. You're not even gonna say Fulham players. Nah, I can't. Not gonna answer that. Best transfer for Rice in the coming weeks. Already have Wilson, Bruno, Semenyo, Tavernier. I'd actually have Rice in the team for the coming weeks. Arsenal doubled in 33. Brian, I have you in the chat. Have Gordon, TK, Bruno Fernandes. Whom should I captain if I'm chasing rank in the mini league? Well, most people will be captaining Bruno Fernandes. So if you're chasing rank, it's probably the other players. I'd put Thiago in there with a shout as well. Cole Palmer if you have him. 2 free transfers at the moment. Should I transfer Enzo to Gordon or roll? Team is looking good otherwise. Roll. Enzo to Gordon probably not something I would do this week. Saving the transfer is worth more, I'd say. Akash says team is who? Maguire, Ronaldo. Don't have triple captain. What do you do with the current plans? Free hit 33. Free hit 33, then you have to already be lined up with those players that we spoke about just now. Like your Arsenal players, your Newcastle players. That's the thing. That's the thing about if you're on a free hit 33. If you're on a free hit 33, technically you don't have to worry so much about who is doubling. But I think you have to then focus more on blank game week 34. If you're on a free hit 33 strategy, then most of your transfers now have to be, you don't have to be concerned about who doubles in 33. You have to be more concerned that your original team right now is able to tide through blank game week 34. So then it goes back to who are the teams projected to blank in 34. And if I just go over to the ticker, projected to blank in 34, Arsenal, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, Man City, and Newcastle. So then if you are on a free hit 33 strategy, it actually makes sense for you to sell your Man City players. Yeah, that's what I would say. Sell your Man City, basically set yourself up for 34. But then again, it's a tricky spot. I mean, if that's the chip strategy you're going for, you need to have free transfers in hand as well. Like maybe save up as many free transfers as you can, because the future weeks will probably need those transfers for you to navigate. Benjamin says 11 players. Lucas Perez gonna get 1 point. Worth using my 1 free transfer and bench. I mean, especially if you're just wildcarding next week, I would make that transfer. I got Salah. Now you confuse me more. Gordon or Palmer for Salah. I guess it depends, like what kind of FPL manager you are. If you really just want to go super differential, I would say if you're like chasing, I would say that Salah out, Palmer in, and Captain Palmer is like probably the most differential you can go for. Mandeep says, "Hey mate, should I do Mukiele to Anderson to or Semenyo to Gordon or Wilson, who I'll probably captain?" Then by that theory, you're also saying that you think Wilson is going to get the most points out of all of them. And if you're also going to captain him, I guess the question is answered. Do you think Hall will start or just go for Livermento? I think Hall will start. Theo or Hall? I prefer Theo. Toby, nice to have you in the chat. Jeffrey says Hall, Theo, or Cash this game week only. I prefer Malik Theo. Evan Nielsen or Enzo? Enzo. But Enzo, I'd say Enzo. -8 to field 11 players, I wouldn't take. I would say -4 to field 10 players is probably what I do. Wilson and Palmer in for Salah and Semenyo. I think just selling Salah is fine. You see, Semenyo likely if Man City double in 33, you will want Semenyo already. If the Burnley and Man City fixture falls into 33 and a lot of and Man City and Burnley are doubling, then I can guarantee you Semenyo will be in all the wildcards. Captain Rogers chasing mini league rank. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. Bench Mbumo or Dango. Man, this is tricky. That is tricky. Surely you have to play both though. Who else are you benching? Kindoichi says, non-FPL question. Do you watch most Premier League matches and does your wife watch the matches with you? I do watch most Premier League matches. Does my wife watch the matches with me? Yes, she does. She does. She is very supportive. And she also plays FPL as well. So she's a very supportive partner. Hey, Theo, Anderson, Gordon, pick 3. Also, how confident are you captaining Bruno? Bournemouth at home, not an easy game. Okay, so I'll answer the first question first. Between Theo, Anderson, and Gordon. Wait, pick 3. If you meant pick 2, then I would say Anderson and Gordon. And how confident am I to captain Bruno? I wouldn't say very confident. There is, I mean, when I look at my team, there is a chance I can captain a differential player. I mean, they do exist in my team. Like Wilson is someone that's fine to go for as a captain. Ekatike is, I guess, arguably okay, but not probably in my top 3. There's also Thiago. If I bring Gordon in, potentially. But for now, it's always defaulted on Bruno Fernandes. But it doesn't. I will post my final team on Instagram in a bit. -4 is actually a -2 if your starting player is not playing. Fair enough. But again, like, it is different if you're transferring out someone like Semenyo for a -4 so that you can have 11 players. And then eventually, if you want Semenyo again, then it's a bit of a waste. Any rewards for your league winner? I think I put them in the description. What's the rank in my mini league? Haven't actually looked at that one. I do have a prize mini league that is running for members though. That is currently happening. The members mini league has a jersey, a football kit of choice for the winner. Only one captaincy for me this game week, Gordon. Bournemouth really solid at home. Sunderland poor away, struggling with injuries. I guess that is fine. I mean, that is completely reasonable. Defenders to buy. This week I've been looking at Newcastle defenders. I'd say the likes of Fulham defenders are also in there. Nico Potato, nice to have you in the chat. Van Dijk, Senesi, Alderete starting, but should I sell Chalobah to a Newcastle defender? Theo or Hall? I prefer Theo. And yes, I would sell Chalobah to a Newcastle defender. Chalobah is going to be out for a while. Is Bassi a good pick? Just for 1 week, I think is fine. Don't have the funds for Anderson. Yeah, okay, just for 1 week, I think it's okay. Would love to do the -4 hit for Wilson for Enzo Lefebvre, but Fulham's fixtures are quite bad after Burnley. So again, it depends. Is this a 1 week punt? Alan says Rogers and Enzo should be playing. Yeah, both should be playing, to be honest. DM McDonald says, hey Consult, I am well. I hope you're well too. Team this week is Martinez, Gabriel, Van Dijk, Hill, Anderson, Stack, Rogers. Yeah, that looks fine. Take no. I wouldn't take a -4 to transfer Hill out. I think I'm pretty sure Hill's gonna get DEFCON this week. So think of Hill with that Manchester United at home fixture at 4 points. Would you be happy with that? Frankfurt, Germany says, hey mate, one free transfer. Does getting Wilson in for any of the below make sense? Bruno, Tavernier, Dango, Palmer, Rogers can field 11 regardless. Wildcard 32 is the plan. Maybe Tavernier to Wilson, one free transfer. I think I would be tempted to do that. But again, like Tavernier is likely on pens, right? So I guess you have to pick your poison. If it's me, I think I might lean towards doing it. So yeah, Tavernier to Wilson, I probably will. I would just be too tempted by the Burnley fixture. Girlfriend made a midfield of Wilson, Gordon, Bruno, Captain, Palmer, Soboslai midfield without taking hits. Also has Theo and Anderson. That's insane. That's insane. I probably, that looks like a free hit midfield and the defenders of choice as well. I mean, it looks completely like a free hit draft. DM McDonald says, oh, it's Collins at Brentford instead of Gabriel. Do you think a free in 34 is the way to go? Could you argue 38 might be the best time with the potential for lots of rotation? I would say that free hit 38 is always a luxury. I would say it's always a luxury because I think by the time the blanks come around, it's really tricky to navigate. Second in my mini league and went Salah in and captain last week. Yeah, unfortunately, FPL is like that, right? Where sometimes you just have to make a bold move and hope it pays off. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? You try to do something different, and if it works out, I mean, happy days. But it's not gonna work out all the time, and ideally, you would assess your decisions not based on the outcome, but based on whether the decision-making process was correct or not. So it made sense. I mean, those people who sold Haaland in a double change, taking Haaland out, going for Ekatike, for example, and then going Salah in for one of your midfielders, like I think it does make sense. Like, so those moves unfortunately didn't work out very well for people who made a double change last week, but at least based on the decision-making process, I think there was an opportunity for that. So yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the outcome doesn't always pay off, but yeah, it is what it is. Is it worth selling Mbumo to Gordon or Haaland to João Pedro for Richards to Theo? I think Mbumo to Gordon, I wouldn't make that move. Haaland to João Pedro, probably. I think I would make the latter of those moves. If you're on a wildcard 32 strategy, I think I would. Not having a go at you, but I think Theo is pronounced as Chow. Also, it's Chow. My apologies. Malik, I think I do recall some commentators pronouncing his name like that. Malik Chow. Okay, let me just try and get it off my... I'll get used to that. Thanks for pointing it out. Josh says, any transfers planned before the deadline? Yes, I have to make some transfers. I don't know if I'll make them on the stream. I can't actually decide. I may just make... Honestly, I should make the Sa to Gordon move is pretty much certain. It's just a question of whether I make the Anderson move in defense for Makiele. So I'll make the Gordon move before I end the stream. Thiago or João Pedro or Bowen will perform this week. I think all will perform. Yeah, so 1 week, plan a free hit for the bad blank. Yeah, fair enough. FPL errors in the chat. Nice to see you, Niall. Setting up for my own stream. Popped in to say hello. Hope all is well. I hope all is well with you too, my man. Coming to the end of the season, it's insane, huh? It's insane. Always nice to have another content creator in the stream. If you are staying up until the deadline for those in Asia, or if you are kind of, in the UK or in and around the UK where it's kind of evening time and you're still staying online, pop over to Niall's stream at FPL Era, and yeah, just basically lots of great content there. So tune into his deadline stream as well. Really, really cool, man. Happy Hari Raya. Have you free hit? Yeah. By the way, for those who celebrate, happy Hari Raya to all of you guys who celebrate. Have you free hit? No, I have not free hit. What chips have you used? I have already used the triple captain chip, but the rest of the chips I still have with me. Thinking Haaland to Watkins and Sa to Bruno, G or Gordon. I wouldn't go Haaland to Watkins. I think if it's a forward this week, I would go for Raul Jimenez. Sa to Bruno, G or Gordon. I would prefer Gordon because he's on pens. Okay. Let me make the transfers. Let me bring Gordon in. So it's just a question of whether... I'm definitely going to bring Gordon in. It's a question of whether I make another transfer. Confirmed. It's a question of whether I make another transfer. To improve the defense and put Rodon first on the bench, and then have Joachim Anderson here. Which I think, honestly speaking, I'm not opposed to it. Because then my team would actually look pretty solid, I would say. I just benched a Rodon 8-pointer though, I think. Yeah, against Crystal Palace. Rodon got 8 points against Crystal Palace last week. I just benched an 8-pointer. Alan says, based on next week's double game week prediction, worth selling Rogers to Gordon, 2 free transfers. 1 free transfer can be a direct swap, else I'll need 2 moves. But I wouldn't... The thing is, I wouldn't sell Rogers this week because he has West Ham. So I wouldn't make the Rogers to Gordon move. And if it's next week, then we can wait till next week because the doubles will be confirmed after the FA Cup. Do you think Semenyo to Gordon is worth it? No wildcard, but chasing rank have the rest of my chips. Newcastle most likely going to double. Yeah, I mean City might too. And if you're if you have the rest of your chips, then just go all out every week. Like basically dead end this week is fine. Do you think Achiampong and Renildo starts? Tricky though, those two. Tricky. I don't think either. I mean, if anything, I think Renildo has a slightly better chance. Ekitike for Haaland, not a must this week. I actually prefer Raul Jimenez as a forward. Have to sell Haaland to get Gordon in. So should I go for Raul? I would actually go for Raul Jimenez. Yes, because especially if you're wildcarding in 32, I think Raul Jimenez in and then Gordon in. That would be pretty ideal. Selamat Hari Raya. Hope Enzo Lefebvre plays. All right, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in for the stream, and have a good celebration. Gabriel, Timber, Estef, Maguire, Anderson. Think you roll 2 free transfers. You probably can roll if you wish to. I mean, Estef, Maguire, and Anderson are fine, but you have 2 free transfers, and especially if you're wildcarding in 32, I might just spend a transfer. I don't see a clean sheet for Estef, so I might just spend a transfer to bench Estef and have a defender in there. All right, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you for tuning in to the Game Week 31 deadline stream. Gordon is in, and I think I'm quite likely to do the Anderson move. So for now, that is the plan. I'm just thinking whether I should just make it on stream, because I'm actually pretty certain I'll do it. I don't see a clean sheet for Rodon though. Don't see a clean sheet for Rodon. Though they are kind of fighting for survival though. Alright, I'll have a think about it. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the Game Week 32 deadline stream, and if I can make a video, I'll make a wildcard video as well. Looking at the poll, I think it's quite split. I mean, 58% say that they don't mind the stream tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. If I'm up for the stream and if I think there's enough to discuss, or if there's too much in doubt and it's better to just wait till later, then I might just do that. So I'll update you guys as always on the socials. If not, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. All the best for Game Week 31. Please drop a like on the stream if you haven't already. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.